Well, well, guess who's back after a full month of being dead? No, I didn't die. I disappeared. I thought about a lot about life. Freshman year of high school, I thought, I know what I'm going to do after high school. I'm going to just get millions of subs out of nowhere. And then, hopefully it'll go there. But life is not like that, older Chris. Well, 1 year later, Chris found out. And I actually planned out a life. I'm going to go to college. Like, maybe 6 years of college, hopefully 4. And take 1 year of trade school. And then other stuff. And then I was like, I always still love making YouTube videos. And after abandoning for a month, I was actually going to plan on making a video of me saying goodbye forever. After 17 videos of that, I just couldn't come to it. After like almost... Oh my gosh! I've been doing YouTube for 4 years and I forgot. Holy crap, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years. Should we make this to like a 4-year stream? Should we change the video subject? Jeez. I don't know if to make its own video or to go what was planned. 4 years? Holy crap. Forgot October's over. Bro, I literally haven't uploaded. I was planning on making a video about that and I totally forgot. 4 years. I was 13, now I'm 16, gonna turn 17 in 3 months. Jeez. Let's get to the video. And today, I know it's not October. Some Darman. I haven't reacted to Darman at all. Girl tries to be real mom for fun. Well, the new FNAF movie just came out, and I've seen it. It's 10 out of 10. I seen it on Halloween Day with my best friend Herbs. And, really good. So good, in fact. Also, is this gonna be an ad? Me and my best friend Herbert, I don't know what to call him. That's like his stage name, but he said that he doesn't know if that's gonna be like his YouTube. He wanted his personal thing. Mine is to be a YouTuber. His is to be a rapper. But obviously, those are things that are dream things, not our actual things that we're planning on doing. Because I actually want to be a teacher. Surprisingly, my dumbass wants to be a teacher. And he wants to be a diesel mechanic. First, I wanted to be a mechanic. But then it switched to teacher for personal reasons. But I still want to be a mechanic. So I'm thinking, who cares? But I started my own rap channel. He has not yet. He wants to do more professional. He wants to find a producer while I make my own crappy beats that are pretty shitty. Yes, pretty crappy. And also, if you haven't known, I've kind of kept the channel to a T rated than a family channel. It's just, if you know me cussing more, I've just kind of been tired of holding back all the curses for like the past years now. So I'm not going to try hiding it. I'm going to be myself. So, the person who's been subscribed forever, the person I know, basically, Dad, are you watching this, Dad? I'm sorry, okay? Shit. Alright. But, today we're going to be watching 3 Five Nights at Freddy's Horror Stories animated by Horror Shorts Party. The FNAF movie just came out. And let's get to it after this. How long have I been recording for? 4 minutes now. Of me figuring out I've been doing YouTube for 4 months. Me making a rap channel, Backchris Music. I'm ashamed of it, kind of. The reason why it's not connected to my channel is because I don't want my dad finding it. I don't even think he watches my channel anymore. Alright, moving on. Black Friday. Are you guys excited for Black Friday? I know I am. Black Friday. I'm not skipping that. That's the main reason why I kind of quit, is because I was tired of editing all these ads out. The following stories. Oh, that I really am
One night, I was supposed to meet my friend James at this pizzeria. It was called Freddy Fazbear's, or something like that. I never heard of it before, but he said it was good, so I agreed to go. Plus, I loved arcade games, and James had promised that it had some of the best in town. I got to the pizzeria a little early, so I stood out front and waited for James to get there. But after about 15 minutes, he still hadn't shown up. I texted him to see how long he would be and got no response. I didn't want to just stand around waiting for him, so I decided to head inside and play some games. I bought some tokens and went over to the arcade. James was right. The place did have some cool stuff. I picked a game that was facing the front so that I could see when James walked in. I wasn't playing for very long when I noticed a really creepy guy across the room. He was extremely tall and slender, and he was wearing a suit, which I thought was strange for a pizzeria. He had to be pretty old because his hair was thinning, but whatever hair he had left practically grazed the ceiling, he was so tall. He literally looked like the Slender Man. What was worse though, is that it looked like the man was staring at me. He had this really creepy smile on his face, and I could swear he was looking right at me. He was standing pretty far away though, so I thought I might be imagining things. But the longer I stayed at the game, the more it seemed like the guy was watching me, and he never lost that weird smile. I assumed that he must have some kid near me that he was actually watching, so I just moved to another arcade machine to get away from him. When I got there, I checked to see if the guy was still watching me, and I was disturbed to find out he was. He had completely turned around to face my direction, and he was still staring at me. I was pretty freaked out, but I tried to ignore him and play the game. I didn't want to seem scared, but it was hard not to look a little shaken. No matter what I did, the man continued to stare at me while smiling. I again relocated to another machine, but when I looked up, the man was still staring at me. He had even moved to get a better view. I texted James to hurry the hell up, and then moved to another machine again. I just wanted to get away from the man, but no matter where I went, I kept getting stared at by him. I didn't know if he was an employee, a customer, or someone's dad, but he was creepy as hell. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to complain, but the man was standing so far away from me. It wasn't like he was harassing me or taking pictures or something. I had no choice but to go along with it and get stared at. I wanted to leave, but I didn't want to just abandon James. He was so late though. I had no idea where he was. I was extremely uncomfortable and scared as shit. I wanted to take a piss so badly because I was petrified of the man. But I forced myself to hold it in because I was sure the man would have followed me into the bathroom. I texted James again to hurry. Where the hell are you? I played for a bit longer, but I was not enjoying the game whatsoever. I could feel the man's eyes on me. Anytime I turned to look at him, he had the exact same expression, the same creepy smile. I didn't know what he wanted with me. Maybe he was just trying to freak me out, or maybe it was something worse. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I texted James that I was leaving and started walking toward the door. I looked behind me to make sure the man wasn't following me, and he wasn't there. Somehow not seeing him was even creepier than him staring at me. I spun all around trying to find him, but he was gone. I felt somewhat relieved and started to leave again. Then, out of nowhere, the man appeared from behind an arcade machine and charged at me. I tried to run, but he was too quick. He grabbed me by the shoulders and started yelling at me with his face an inch away from mine. Stop looking at me! Okay. I broke free from his grasp and ran out of the building. I immediately started sprinting home. I ran as fast as I possibly could, but then I was grabbed from behind by giant hands. I was being carried and dragged while the man's giant hands suffocated my face. He then tied my hands behind my back and gagged me with something. Then he threw me in the back of some van by the parking lot. I couldn't believe what was happening. I started crying and trying to scream for help through my gag, but it was no use. The van pulled away with me inside it. As I tried to sit up, I noticed that there were 4 other people in the truck with me, all of them tied up as well. Then I saw that one of them was James. It finally hit me that we were all being kidnapped. The sight of my friend in there with me made me even more horrified. I started panicking and screaming even louder. The others joined me. All of us hoped that maybe, just maybe, someone would hear us.
They're still alive in that one where he's like
This story was inspired by William Afton, who is also known as the Purple Guy from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. The storyline is that Afton is a serial killer responsible for the murder of a dozen individuals over the period of about a decade, and just so happens to be the founder of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Afton had allegedly abducted 5 individuals by luring them into a back room dressed in a rabbit costume. He would then hide their corpses in the animatronic costumes. Police arrested Afton, but he was let go due to lack of evidence and the bodies never being found. This caused the spirits of the dead to possess the animatronics. However, the dark twist behind this is that it ties to a real-life conspiracy regarding a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, where 5 individuals allegedly went missing. We've made 2 videos regarding this already, so please be sure to check them out. But at the end of the day, this is all just speculation.
I feel like people would rather, if they made an actual Freddy Fazbear's restaurant after the games, I feel like people would just ditch Chuck E. Cheese completely. And Chuck E. Cheese.
My buddy Ed and I recently got a job at a cleaning company. We would get contracted to clean different restaurants, malls, or whatever businesses hired us. We'd usually end up working every night and sleeping through the day. It wasn't really my idea of a great career, but it paid the bills. One month, we were hired to clean at a place called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It was just a month contract, nothing too abnormal. It was once again a night shift job, so we would go in around closing time and then stay there for most of the night. When we would first get there, some people would still be in the arcade, but they would slowly trickle out as it closed until the place was empty. Ed and I would have to clean the arcade machines, restaurant area, and bathrooms. Plus, we'd take out all the trash. The worst part, though, was that we had to clean the animatronics, too. They had a bunch of them up on the stage, and we'd have to polish them up every night. I hated doing it. They honestly really creeped me out. I wasn't really sure why, but I found them scary as hell. I didn't like being around them, especially at night. Their faces seemed to glow in the dim lighting. It was like they were once alive, but now their corpses were on display. Cleaning them was easily my least favorite part of the job. Luckily, Ed didn't seem to mind them, so I would take care of the trash, restaurant area, and arcade, while Ed cleaned the kitchen, bathrooms, and animatronics. He knew I was scared of them, and he'd often make fun of me for it, but I was just happy that I didn't have to deal with them. It was also one of the harder jobs that we'd worked. The whole place was a mess every night. The guests obviously did not care about trashing the place. We would always have to stay really late to get everything done. The longer we worked there, the more I started to notice weird things. I swore that I saw the animatronics move sometimes when I wasn't looking. It was like they were possessed. The Freddy Fazbear animatronic creeped me out the most. There were several times when I noticed it was looking at me, even though I was sure that it had been looking in the other direction a minute ago, and the animatronics were always unplugged immediately after closing. It was all pretty freaky, but nothing ever really. Such a puss with those animatronics. No, I'm not. Yeah, right. You act like they're gonna come alive and attack us. I don't think that. They just freak me out, okay? They're creepy as shit. Whatever, man. Don't you have some work to do? Sure I do, you prick. I was just leaving. You were just wasting time is what you were doing. I don't want to be here all night, so hurry up, garbage boy. All right, I'm going.
Style freaks me out.
I hate this job. It always smells like my ex when she opens her legs. What the hell? Ed, what's going on?
That comment right there got me.
Ed?
Wild. What's the name behind it?
Oh my god! Ed, where are you? Oh my god! What the hell is happening?
Get out of there, bro.
Ed?
Get out of there. Get out of there. Why are you going into?
Leave me alone or I'm calling the cops! Somebody help me! Help! I have to get out of here! I can do this! I could do this!
Oh, you look down. Would you like a hug?
This story was submitted by a viewer who claims he used to work as a janitor for a Chuck E. Cheese establishment back in the early 2000s, when animatronics were still a thing in the franchise. The viewer claims that every time he would work at this particular Chuck E. Cheese, he would see the animatronics move on their own during several different occasions, despite being plugged out. The viewer claims that seeing the Five Nights at Freddy's series triggers him as the whole storyline of the animatronics seemingly coming to life strikes a nerve. The viewer also claims that since then, the restaurant was always known for constantly hiring new employees due to the high surge of employees quitting cause of undisclosed reasons. The viewer ends off by saying he truly believes the restaurant was haunted and that something more than just serving customers was definitely going on.
This presentation may contain language and scenes which may be objectionable to certain individuals. Viewer discretion is advised.
This happened in 2015. I used to take my son to Chuck E. Cheese a lot. The whole place was basically a replica of Freddy Fazbear's from that Five Nights at Freddy's game he loved so much. The place was his favorite arcade and pizza joint growing up. Personally, I think the animatronics and mascots were always creepy as hell. I always felt uneasy every time I brought him there. One night, I took my son into the restaurant and found a booth for
Oh,
us.
that was just
Once he knew where I would be, I let him run off into the
scare me?
arcade.
Wow.
Then I waited for a waiter to come take my
Real life
order.
in
But a
action.
few minutes before they arrived, I found myself staring at the Chuck E. Cheese mascot standing near the stage. For some reason, it was staring back at me from across the building, ignoring all the kids that were running around it trying to get attention. Eventually, a waiter came up to me and asked for my order. I tried to speak the words. 1 large cheese pizza and 2 medium
Mascots.
Cokes.
They are not creepy.
wanna
The
be like me?
animatronics are.
Almost.
My dad
Every
took me
day.
to a Chuck E. Cheese. I saw like one of the robots. I was like,
But there was
looking
something
at
wrong
that.
with my head. I couldn't stop staring and thinking about that mascot.
Well, I'm not
Who was that guy
freaking
behind the
Batman,
mask? Can he be
Batmobile,
trusted around children? It just didn't seem
arcade
right.
machine.
It was like the
Oh,
mascot
okay.
was playing tricks on me. I wanted to pull my eyes away, but then it took a step, and then another. It seemed like it was walking straight towards me. My heart almost jumped out of my chest. I finally finished my order with the waiter. I talked to them for probably
No
15
pepperoni.
seconds before they left. But when I looked back at the mascot, it was gone. I looked all around the restaurant and arcade, but there was no sign of him. I did my best to shrug it off, despite the fact that my heart was still pounding. I looked down at my phone so I wouldn't get caught in another staring contest with that nightmare fuel of a children's mascot. A little while later, the food came out. I sipped on some soda and ate a slice of pizza, but I wasn't feeling very hungry after what happened. Strangely, several minutes passed and I didn't see my son a single time. Usually, he'd run back around the table every few minutes to see if the pizza was out, and then once he had a full stomach, he would disappear. However, I realized I hadn't seen him a single time since he went to the arcade. I was about to get up and go look for him, when out of nowhere, I heard the most horrific, blood-curdling scream.
He orders this cheese.
When I heard it, I began to panic. It was the worst possible sound. It was my son. The sound of my son screaming in terror. I could tell the sound was coming from the bathroom. That's when I immediately bolted in that direction. My son was still screaming when I got there. I tried to barge in, but the door was locked. I pounded my fist on the door and started shouting at the top of my lungs. I screamed, "Help! Somebody! Open the door! I'm calling the cops! Help!" Everybody in the whole place turned to look at me. The employees started surrounding me, confused as to what was going on. I resorted to beating the door down, but at the last second, before I caused any real damage, the door suddenly opened and I could see my son run out crying. But in an instant later, my blood began to boil. I saw the mascot follow suit behind him, casually stepping out of the washroom. I started acting erratic and charged at him, but was eventually held back by
Imagine he's
several
just
Chuck E. Cheese
crazy and it's
employees.
on his
The
head.
mascot then took off his helmet, revealing his face, then started spewing a bunch of excuses, trying to justify why he was locked in the washroom with my son. In the heat of the moment, I couldn't quite comprehend what he was saying, but it was something along the lines of just trying to use the washroom and that he didn't know why the door was locked. He attributed my son screaming to him being scared of the costume. I wanted to tear him to shreds and call him out on all of it, but for some stupid reason, the manager came out and shut everything down. He told me to get out immediately or he was going to call the cops. He wouldn't hear anything I had to say. He thought I was the bad guy in this whole situation. Then, he banned me from the location and threatened to ban me from all of them if I didn't leave. I knew my son wouldn't be able to handle not going to Chuck E. Cheese ever again, so I reluctantly left. On the car ride home, I asked my son what happened, but all he said was that he thought it was Freddy Fazbear. I could tell he was lying, but no matter how much I pressed him, he didn't change his story. I'm sure he was worried that I wouldn't let him go to Chuck E.
I'll
Cheese
be like,
anymore if
call
he
the
told me what
cops.
happened. I eventually dropped it, and afterwards we only went to the Chuck E. Cheese on the other end of town. A few years later, the whole ordeal was in the past. But one night, I saw a nightmare come true on the news. The picture of the same man behind the mascot was plastered on the screen, and the reporter said he was arrested for being a predator. Now there's really no mystery what happened in that bathroom, or what I hope only almost happened. Thankfully, my son dropped his obsession with Five Nights at Freddy's, but I certainly won't be going anywhere near a Chuck E. Cheese ever again. The story was inspired by the Crying Kid from the FNAF series. The storyline where the Crying Kid gets tormented to go to Freddy Fazbear's and ends up getting attacked by the animatronics. But unfortunately, this was actually based on a true event. A Tonawanda man who worked at Amherst Chuck E. Cheese is facing charges. A man named Zachary was arrested after police say he conducted explicit activity with someone under investigation. Chuck E. Cheese has since released a statement on how